Red flags: if you have a difficult time co-parenting with someone that is highly narcissistic, you're not alone. The shit that a narcissist will do to try to get under your skin or elicit a reaction out of you, it's going to affect the kids more than it does you, because at this point you already know what you're dealing with. So kudos to you if you do not react. It took a while for me in the beginning to not react to things. Story time. So yesterday my son had a track meet, and a few days prior to it, he told me that his dad was planning to attend. As per our agreement, he is supposed to take the children to dinner twice a week and take them every other weekend they spend with him. If you co-parent with a narcissistic person, then you know where this is about to go. The 2 times a week got shut down to once a week. There was no dialogue about it. It just abruptly happened. And when I questioned about it, I got ignored. Then he had a hissy fit after he had to pay me more due to a modification, a much needed modification, because someone's salary increased double as to what it was when the order was set in place. Instead of just doing what he's supposed to legally do, he decides he's going to stop picking up the kids twice, not even the once a week, right? When he self-modified that on his own, not legally. But if you document everything, you have proof that this person is not doing what they're supposed to. So if you really want to go back and forth and go to court, that's on your own discretion. I'm just sharing this information because I know there's other people out there that are living this kind of bullshit. Where was I? Okay, to get back on track. So he stopped for about 4 months now, picking them up and taking them to eat during the week. All right. So now he does that. He never does it anymore. And I, of course, I ask about it. And I say like, hey, I know that things have happened to you. Like, you have your own trauma, but don't let so much time go by before, you start seeing the kids, spending that time with them during the week. And he says, in a perfect world, I would love to see my kids, but because you filed for a modification and I have to pay more, I need to work more. I need to get a second job. I had to get a second job. All this stuff is like also telltale information that, like, well, if you have to work more, then obviously you're going to even make more than what you're making now. But instead of just doing as he is supposed to, he wants to try to punish me for getting an increase, for taking care of our 3 kids when I also work a full-time job. Now he doesn't even come and somewhat help by taking the kids to eat those 2 extra days. Like I said, he's not taking the kids to appointments. All that falls on me. And he lives so far away that if any of the kids get sick, who are they calling first to pick up the kids? Me. So then I miss work. But, this is what is so ridiculously unfair for people that are co-parenting with a narcissistic person. That narcissistic person is not going to come up out of their own ass to self-correct and say, you know what, like, this is my duty as a parent. Like, let me rise to the occasion and do what I'm supposed to do. No, they're going to bitch and complain and try to make the other person feel guilty for receiving more, because they want to try to bully you, intimidate you, so you can back down and be like, well, you know what? Fine. Okay. Then I won't take more. It is what it is. And then he wants to complain about it being unfair that he has to pay so much, but the courts would not honor something that you could not afford. Let's be real here. But a lying narcissist, they think that you are going to believe everything that they just say to you, like you didn't already live this nightmare with them. And they're going to continue to try to have their pity parties, and they want to make you be the bad guy. So he goes to our son's track meet, and I still didn't have any clarity whether or not he was going to be picking him up. But based off of our actual arrangement, he's supposed to, when he comes up here, pick up the kids, bring them home and stuff like that. He didn't even make the effort to take our son home. He left him at the school, at the track meet, and didn't tell me anything. So I see it's getting later, and I know I have to be at the aftercare place to pick up our daughters by a certain time. And my son had mentioned that his track meet was probably going to be running late. He was like, I'm not sure if my dad's going to bring me home. I'm not sure if he's going to take me to get something to eat. Okay. I had to send my son a text and ask him. Actually, sorry, let me backtrack. I sent his dad a text. Hey, I'm going to pick up the girls right now. Are you at the track meet? Can you bring our son home afterwards? You can take him to get something to eat. Whatever, feel free. His response is, I left 30 minutes ago. So had I not texted him, I wouldn't know that our son needed a ride. It wasn't communicated to me. He didn't even tell me he was coming up here. He just mentioned it to our son because he did not have any intention on bringing him home. He wanted to be passive aggressive in the situation and just come show his face. Like, why drive 2 fucking hours to show your ugly ass face at the track meet and then say, well, he wanted to stay and support his friend, so I left. Common courtesy would be, okay, you want to stay, just ask your mom, does she mind picking you up then? Because I'm going to leave. Although my therapist made a good point. He said, why drive all that way and not stay for the full track meet? Really? I don't know. And why drive all that way and not see all of his kids? Good question, Doc. I don't know. From the words of my therapist, he said that is very passive-aggressive behavior. And the fact that I didn't say anything to go off on him, I just said, okay, that was my response. And I just did what I needed to do to go pick up my son and make sure that he ate, make sure our daughters ate, because he doesn't think that he needs to do those duties anymore. Okay, my therapist said, well, that is emotional maturity on your end to not even waste your time. What's the point, really? He explained people do those things to elicit a reaction out of you. So you're not giving him a reaction. Good for you. People like that are real fucked up, y'all. There's some messed up people in this world, and they don't care how they affect their kids. They think that their kids don't see this type of shit that they do. And how can you go from once picking them up and taking them to eat and stuff, and then now it's just like, oh, I'm not doing anymore. I pay too much in child support.